original people stolen from our land and our generation. So some of us don't know that we came from the kings and the queens and the chief musicians and the architects of this world. And so it's taken us a lot of time to find our identity. That being said, there's nothing worse than being suppressed by your own. And so there's this book that I am encouraging everybody to read. It's called Animal Farm. TikTok people, I know some of you know it. My people on YouTube, I know the world knows this, Animal Farm. But there's a big thing now in the Jamaican space about independence. There's this big thing about the drive to get to a republic. And the people want to have an understanding of why your masters, because they don't feel like they are your servants, why your masters, why the political elite want to get to a republic. It's a rush to abuse. I'm humbly submitting this. And unless you get mature, the opportunity for mature consideration and proper public education, and I'm talking now to my dunce people. I'm talking to my people who can admit that I am an uneducated person when it comes to them law thing and the constitution thing. You would tell your representative, listen, speak in a language so me can understand. Make me understand what you say. So I don't care how you bright and you brilliant. Let me understand, and if me not understand, you can't get my vote for a referendum. But until it is that your rights are enforced the way that it should, your rights are reflected as our Chief Justice Sykes. Listen, I say this every day, because I am a true fan of Justice Sykes. I'm a true fan because he represents Black identity. When you see your Black brother excelling, it is for the purpose of your kids and the next generation. So you have a markers of where you want to be in your life. This is what is so important about speaking in context matters, because you want to know where the ceilings that you can shatter, the glass ceilings. Portia shattered a ceiling that Hillary Clinton never had the opportunity to do, and she's a white woman. But Portia became the first female prime minister in a region that included America that Hillary Clinton didn't do it. And
Empress,
these are you, and so women have the ambition to want to be prime minister. And sons and daughters must have that same ambition to be the best versions of themselves. So while it is that I have full ambition to one day own a KFC franchise, so I don't have to join the line to get the barbecue chicken and these things. I have to have markers of what I want to be or where I want to be able to ascertain, to be able to reach my goals, to be able to do that. That's where we're headed. That's what we want. So here's the trick now. The justice system in Jamaica would have been thrust in the spotlight, and rightly so. But guess who? VYBZ Kartel himself. So it is no wonder that there was a push to ensure that the loud Rasta boy don't get an opportunity. And so the elite class did what they had to do. It speaks for itself. I don't have to interpret, people can do. So I'm not even going to encourage anybody or incite anybody to think what the elite attempted to do. I was tried by a panel of my peers, all non-Black people who rule with a heavy hand, and I trust the justice system, and it led to where we are today. So who God bless, no man curse. But when we speak of systems, when we speak of the right to a fair hearing within a reasonable time, let me read what our Constitution says. So me want to educate my Jamaican people. And if you're not from Jamaica, Google your Constitution and see what your Constitution says about this thing, because this is what we talk. This is what was put on the world stage. How do I know it was on the world stage? I see it everywhere I go. I went into movie theaters and people said, I saw you on the stream. I'm walking on the street as a common man, and people recognize who I am. For my them, if you ever hear about 15 minutes of fame, it was literally that as the length of time that I had to make an impact in a passionate plea to ensure that the rights of 4 men who are wrongfully convicted by complete, and I'm gonna say it in, and I will get in trouble for it, but I'm gonna say it, complete, utter dishonesty, disregard for the Constitution, a lack of integrity, gambling, like this is a casino, risk-taking, desperation, evil, wickedness, Babylon system, to ensure that when we got to this time in life, what you think happened? This time in life, Afrobeats has excelled far beyond reggae because the players, the movers, and the shakers was oppressed. We've had in this, out of Jamaica, just like how we have Usain Bolt, we got Bob Marley. And people gonna say I'm biased, but do not ever count this out. I've said this in many spaces.
Spirit, welcome to the
VYBZ Kartel is a national treasure. VYBZ Kartel was placed in the Court of Appeal, Courtroom 1 in the Privy Council. His appeal was heard in the biggest court of the land and heard by the president of the Privy Council and the appeal court, the appellate court, and given the respect and the humanity, something that was missed and lost in other spaces, and a discussion of constitutional rights and giving effect to for us, by us. Because when our charter was created, this thing that I don't leave it, I walk with it and my Bible. I don't ever leave it. So I want y'all to see it. It's called the Jamaican Constitution, but it's this particular aspect of it was bounded and given to me by Mr. Bert Samuels, once my mentor, and he said this was important. And I would have known that because I was schooled by a Tracy Robinson and nurtured at the University of the West Indies, and a scumpy school me go. So a test to show that when you speak about the Constitution, it's your Constitution. They don't know it. The Lords respectfully don't know it. But when our Chief Justice says, listen, this is homegrown. This was made by us, the people, for the people, by the people, not from our colonial masters, to have us escape slavery, knowing that when we escape slavery and on the road to independence, we had to make sure that the least among us would be treated as humans, because all of we now have money. But I can tell you, say, all the riches, the silver and gold will vanish away, but a good constitution will never decay. And the creatures of the constitution can never abuse you when the constitution is working. So what happened February 14th and 15th? The working of the constitution, the showing up of a disgraceful moment where the constitutional rights, not now, because I can tell you this with pride and authority, that in Jamaica, the court, and you can ask the people who are always on, whether it be the Rattigan show or previously the Andre Stevens show, any one of these shows, when I appear on these platforms and we talk about the Constitution and talk about the judiciary, it works. So the complaint being made on the VYBZ Kartel case was when the charter was just changed. Is when we were getting rid of the wickedness and the bad mind and the corruption. Corruption still there, and it's in your parliament. The 6 don't come out yet, but the corruption within the police force, the use of the man phone, the tampering of technological information, and then you have we soon talk about the jury. When you put people who deal with police, husband and wife up on the jury, or the police where responsible for security, soldier up on the jury, woman will sleep floor but her man of police, and the mix up, and then woman we own funeral parlor where I walk up the street but had a cell phone, and she's the this.
Yes, the video pause, darling. Video
Let's
pause.
stop for a second. So
All right.
back up. Back up. Back up.
You're not hearing me. I'm right here.
Yeah. So, all right. He's talking about all this thing about people on the jury, they are sleeping with police and this and that. So you are telling me that in Jamaica there is nothing in place to select jury like in Canada. The prosecutor and the defense have to agree on the jury before that jury can be selected to go sit in the courtroom. So he's talking like there is nothing in place. They just get random people and say, okay, you're gonna be a juror, and there is no vetting of anybody. That's how it works.
Well, this is still Jamaica. Much hasn't changed, you know. We don't even have a system who can find somebody by a gate number. We're still living in a era where we still have post office. A man live on a hill, a man live across there. So really and truly to select jury in Jamaica is a hard work, especially with the number of gated communities where you not can get in that easily. So who them pick work?
Wow. Straight talk.
Yeah. So basically, you know, to be a juror, you just have to meet an age requirement, be a citizen, you have a criminal record, and have a TRN number, and that's all there is, right? You're randomly selected. But going back to what Isat said, him drop us some nuggets, and he, you know, as we are aware, there was a push for him, as he said, for him not to get the opportunity to go to England to represent his client, where they held him to account regarding what he said when he was just quoting some lines out of his client's song. And he's saying that, you know, Kartel was not given the respect and humanity by the courts in Jamaica. But I don't know what he mean by respect and humanity. Did he receive respect and humanity in jail? Maybe not, but in the court, I now understand what myself when he said that. He also touched on the fact that, you know, he walked with the Constitution, which is his Bible. But I think it's very important for Jamaica now to realize that, or even the Minister of Education, to start teaching these fundamentals about their rights to the students in school, so they grow up aware, right? And they're not really, they teach you about North America and they teach you about African history and this and that, and they even teach you about Spanish. But something that's really important to, you know, the children, start teaching them that so they can become more self-aware. Tampering of the information now, that what you were talking about, it's kind of a lot of stuff were really missed in this trial. I don't think it was missed, it was overlooked, because you know what, when a person really want to get you, it's as if them just have tunnel vision just to get you.
Yes.
You know, and they bypass certain procedural stuff, and that's where this end up. And you know, it shouldn't have reached this far, because now we look like a big embarrassment in front of the world, well, a big court in the UK. So that's where we're at now in terms of my review of what he's saying.
That about what he's saying so far.
Yeah, so far.
But you know what? Still, if I was to get a lawyer, I would want a lawyer like him, because to me, he's dedicated. He's not giving up this fight.
Mm-hmm.
And I like him. I like him. You know, he's a fighter.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I don't know what's gonna happen, but my impression of him is a fighter.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that.
You see, the thing is, opinion. You see, the thing is,
yeah,
this case is going to make him get recognition.
Exactly, I was about to say that, yeah, man.
So he's working for his own benefit.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And I would have done the same thing too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest to you, the Crown prosecution and the court system was a mess.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember now, we're not talking whether the man is guilty or not guilty, you know.
Right.
We're just talking about the mess they made. In order for justice to prevail, they make a mess, and now it's gonna play right back in them face.
And at them same one, so them want to become an independent common thing from England. So
No,
how the heck?
we are not in the position to do that.
Yeah,
We are talking
exactly.
about people who want greater opportunity to take greater liberty of them people. Why they want to go republic?
Mm-hmm.
And if they go republic, I tell you it's gonna be hell. See, today alone, at 62 gonna find at one port.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And them say counting and counting. The number may change.
You know, the only thing upset me, I wish somebody had the power in that high court to hold back Paula Llewellyn as one of the greatest and the most corrupt body of people them. We say them must seek justice. Them play Russian roulette with people freedom.
Mm-hmm.
You only got prisoner in Jamaica if you don't have no money.
Mm.
Yeah.
And you see them a try make an example out of cartel.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be fool. They could have all of them could have get them little stipend right now for Lego cartel. Because they have £500,000 swerving around the court forever since they could have gone up now.
Wow.
The jury was holding it in our bag. So here we are, £500,000, not guilty.
Allegedly, people, allegedly.
Yeah. No, when me here upon the court, if it's allegedly, is when me here.
Yeah. Wow.
But to be honest, we system need to do better.
Yes.
We system need to do better. Cause don't be fool, you know. If this has happened to a random man, you know, if VYBZ Kartel wasn't in this case, you know, all the rest of man them would have done life imprisonment without an appeal hearing, you know.
100%. Because when I was growing up, I always know that the justice system was bad in Jamaica, and if you are a ghetto youth, you are gonna face discrimination in the justice system. And I never know that it was that bad, because these judges think that they are God. They just do whatever they want and think that people are gonna accept it. You know, but now they are doing it to the wrong man that have the money and a lawyer like Isat to fight it.
I tell you, Isaac is not even a liar. Is not even a liar. Is the big thing in Pebbles. You have to understand this, you know. Any fool liar could have take this case here and make themselves a public figure out of it.
Yes.
It's a clear-cut mess. It don't need no rocket scientist to know that what they did was wrong in terms of due diligence. So it don't need a great liar.
But the same thing happened during the Zozo, where people were rounded up and proper process was not followed. Even if they were criminals, the process was not followed. And you had some of the judges who don't put up with foolishness, release them back, because you know, in terms of you hold them for too long without charging them this and that, and how you went about stuff. You know, even something as simple as a warrant, right? You know, a lot of them, they may show up, don't have no warrant, don't want to show you, they must have one paper.
And then kick down your door.
and just kid on your door. But by the time you go to court now, you know, you spend a lot of money, you get exhausted, but you end up walk away, but you're exhausted after the whole process. So Jamaica's a place where them love too much shortcut. Them love too much, you know, quick things.
And we know we cannot fight a system that can be very dangerous to us.
Yeah.
Very much. Because
So once you're on the ground, it's like you're in a box.
Yeah.
You have to be careful. Cause remember this now, you know, they only release a man, you know, shot in a few months ago, you know. We do 50 years plus, you know, without being charged, you know.
Yes. Yes.
5 decades in one place is really. Why are you going to compensate that, man? What's the compensation gonna be for 5 decades? What can compensate for that?
Well, Empress in the chat is asking that if it's because of politics, why they are trying to they are probably gonna release Cartel. If you think politics have anything to do with it.
Well, to be honest, you know, I don't really understand how politics work, you know. Because politics in Jamaica now have nothing to do with democracy, you know. Politics in Jamaica is a system again, you know. So I don't know if he's part of a system and the system is going to do something in order to help him. I don't know.
Well, they had tried because they had tried, and I think him they take the bait when they had tried, when the whole vaccine thing come about. And, you know, when they wanted to get the masses to get vaccinated, they use him to say, oh, I did it, so you can go do it too. So maybe,
really?
Yes. So maybe
did Cartel did he took the vaccine?
Yes, he did. Because the whole thing.
Tell you what, the long and short of it, if he took the vaccine, they're gonna let him go. Because we know what the vaccine gonna do to you. It don't happen in short order. No, we know we have people we are struggle, we are suffer, but they will never tell us, and because we are not medical doctor, they think we're fool to see people that are dropped on the ground. Something will never happen to you, and it start happening to people where you can count 3, 4, 5, 6 people have the same symptoms. I'm fool enough to think so it's not the vaccine.
Yeah.
Well,
remember, you know, don't be fooled with everyone touch a vaccine point, you know, because that's one of the biggest strip company earth, you know.
YouTube, we will say the vaccine is safe and effective and it prevents death and long-term hospitalization and all these stuff. So
they don't have hospitalization. They don't have hospitalization for COVID, but
and effective.
No, I wouldn't say that. We have hospitalization for mental health, anxiety, right? Epilepsy, all different kind of complaints, but not COVID-19. But this is a result of something that wasn't happening, but since the vaccine started happening.
Yes, YouTube. The vaccine is safe and effective.
Your program, but anyway.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
And we're gonna listen some more.
Yeah.
Isat Buchanan. We're gonna listen some more. Back up, talk. What you say? Play some more.
Play some more.
Yes, man. We need some more.
Hey, these YouTube street is not easy, you know. Oh, all right. I'm gonna play some more.
And she's that. All of them mix up here going, you know, real thing. And these things is what is the other side of the game. And so the right to privacy now is get your privacy, breach your privacy, then scandal you. It's called ad hominem. Scandal you and use information to shift the narrative in the public space and speak about circumstantial things that don't necessarily have inescapable inferences. But why I say all of this? Because a jury of your peers is all those things that I tell you. But the key aspect of it is a properly constituted jury. That is what we must think about. A properly constituted jury. So I go back to it now. And our Constitution, Section 16.1 says, whenever a person is charged, it's with a criminal offense, he shall, unless the charge is withdrawn, be afforded a fair hearing within a reasonable time by an independent and impartial court established by law. You see that? Independent and impartial court. People must ask themselves, what is the independent and impartial court? Well, at the time it would have been the jury, at the time it would have been the judge, and at the time it would have been how the process works. The defense attorneys come in and the prosecutor is there and all of that. So 4 men charged for murder, not capital murder, murder simpliciter, and information collected, collated, and sorted by the police in breach of the Interception of Communication Act. And the Constitution, this Constitution, the Charter, and through the Charter, it says that to use this information, if it's not collected in the manner that the Charter prescribes, it must be demonstrably justifiable in a free and democratic society. That's the crux of the matter. Now, this demonstrably justifiable in a free and democratic society, they said it's not. We don't need that. Them don't need that. Them boy don't need that. Them definitely, we not do it. And the judge says, aren't you daunted? Says to the prosecutor, he was in court today. Aren't you daunted by the fact that the people now have a powerful constitution that shifts the burden on you to tell us why you breached the right? And we know how it works, because there's a case. There's a woman who had her cell phone, her son was murdered, and they wanted the code for the phone and all of that, and they go to court and all. They had to go to court, and then a judge does the test. So just like how it worked for Uptown, it must work for the ghetto youth. But it never works so for these 4 men. We go to the Court of Appeal and they say, well, but mind you, Charter young, people don't really interpret it yet. It came out at the time when Constitution get nice when I was in law school. So we get a different type of training. We grew up knowing that the Constitution was the done of all done. So all this one done and skeng done and done done and all Stefan done. Yeah, the Stefan done ain't no done like a constitution. Them kind of things there. Right? It's all said the kingdom come from not Jada. You know, the kingdom, not Jada. You get what I'm saying. And yeah. And we ain't talking about Will, Jada either. But you get where I'm going. So with all of this now, growing up knowing, as in growing up meaning in the law and knowing the importance of the Constitution, know about the importance of equality, the importance of treating your brother horizontally, with respect and human dignity. Everybody has that right. That was what was deprived for these men. And coupled with that, after that conduct, here comes the jury now. Incident number 2. Woman say, my son say him there jail with them. Because guess what? You know, everybody picnic can do no wrong. We see it on the TV every day. When the police murder them say, my good youth, him not do nothing. Yeah? When you go around, you kill everything, and then when you dead, the news people report that you're a businessman when you's really the murderer and all of that. But I'm not assassinating the character of dead people. I'm just saying is when for the purposes of creating a narrative, we do all kind of things and try to make people bad people good and good people bad. And that's why when you try to defame people, you find yourself apologizing. Or sometimes you just have to apologize because you don't want them beat you and kill you, because I saw them go on when them ready. and you must have self-check morality. You must know what suits you when you are doing what you're doing. So the key to that now is to not fall into the narrative of who's saying what. It's never over till the fat lady sing. But I can tell you this, man, the Bible don't lie. When God sent Moses for him people, him did know say he was gonna put Moses in the same castle, the same palace as the future Pharaoh, and that future Pharaoh was gonna have inferiority complex, because this Pharaoh had to be in the trenches. The Pharaoh is not of the ilk of Moses because he was raised beneath Moses. So when you can't be in as the ilk, when you can't do the law, you have to be in the trenches. And to be in the trenches, you have to delve into nepotism, because you can't respect the law when you're in the trenches. The trenches is dirt. The trenches is a pigsty. So anywhere in the space you hear somebody say, I am in the trenches every day. Because the executive, you can ask the parliamentarians, when the only time you see them is election time, they're not in the trenches. That's why you need the councillors for, to be in the trenches, and the MPs drive around in the big cars now and then from time to time, because it's too nice to be in the trenches. That's what we mean. So you say you're in the dirt and you're on the ground, you're the foot soldier and you're proud of that. It just means that you're not dealing with the legal aspects. You're just a doer and a push your agendas. You're not. Yeah, that's what trenches mean. So you lose respect for the Constitution, you lose respect for the system, and that is what will cause a situation where a jury is tampered with. So let's talk about hypotheticals, because that's all we heard from the side that wants to say that everything was justified, to justify breaches of the Constitution. You say, let's get into the minds of people. Now I can tell you this, you can't get into my mind, because things like, here's what I'm doing my speech, and I don't know if I was hungry, but I said, Tom Tavares, KFC. It's only people who come on Rattigan show will know, say, will definitely find it hilarious when I say KFC. Say Isat must think about barbecue chicken, where I'm just get up out of nowhere and start to talk about KFC. So you definitely can appreciate that from talking about KFC or thinking about KFC. Nobody's gonna just pray and think that you're a madman in that space or in that context. Now, if one were to think about, I'm seeing that this thing frees up, but I still have to continue, because that is what I have to do. Nonetheless, when it is that, all right, say I'm back. Sorry about that. I was talking about, I don't know how I said Tom Tavares KFC. The good thing is I had a conversation with him, and I'm using this platform to say I give that man his flowers. This man says, and I'm saying this now, and I know I'll have an opportunity in other spaces, but when I said Tom Tavares KFC, there was a response behind me that I gave no weight to, because I wouldn't understand that Tom Tavares plays two roles. He is a senator, he's a lawyer, King's Counsel. So when he's in court, when he as the first instance lawyer says to the judge, it is your dilemma. We have a constitution and the rights were breached. It is your dilemma. Here's why you can tell a judge it's his dilemma. And those are nice words for, go and go read it, because I make the law. I sign the law. I make the law. I write it off as a senator. The law you are reading now, we have the doctrine of separations of powers. So the legislator is different from the judiciary. So I am the legislator, and I'm telling you, the judiciary, go learn it, go read it. Because you breach it, I write it, I know it. So he did enough to save and preserve that aspect of it. Now, why is that important? Because, well, I'm just addressing that. I had the conversation with him about calling him KFC, and he understood. He understood that it wasn't disrespect. So there are some people who you can just take up the phone and call them, and they'll be quick to write a paper to get you in problems. But he understood that, and in especially, like I say, I guess when I own my KFC franchise and I'm a belly big, because I name too much KFC, people understand. But that is important that you understand what the constitutional rights is. So the justice system is a hierarchy, and so if you don't get justice at the first instance, your rights are preserved, because that's why they call you an appellant. Although you're convicted, the conviction is not final. So the people will speak and talk about you and class you. But many persons, last year there were persons who were in prison for life and the convictions were overturned. But same thing, by myself and Mr. Clark, where we at the Court of Appeal level. So I'm telling you, the court in Jamaica is operating with respect for human rights. I say that with no apology. So they can be upset with me, but you're not going to judge who sit on the court and they not consider the Constitution right there and then. You might not like the decision, but at least when you're appealing it, you have something to review. In this situation, there was nothing to review. And that was the crux of what I had to say to the lords at the Privy Council, is that they gave you nothing to work with. A constitution so fresh and so clean, with all of the niceties to protect you as a Jamaican, and the way of the constitution posh, you're supposed to stush. Yeah? So for those who say I gesticulate too much, when you're talking about the constitution, you have to be careful not to do too much with your hands in relation to the constitution. So you have to keep far and contain yourself. I'll say it that way. Otherwise, you find yourself rushing legislation and just disrespecting the constitution. Trying to say it right this time, because I don't have $500,000 to give nobody. Anyway, so after saying that, we're now at the Court of Appeal, and in their judgment, they had some critical paragraphs. So if you're really interested, you can go to the judgment and you look at paragraph 209. It was said today, and the videos are out there circulating. So go for yourself. Look at 209. Look at paragraph 238. That's the clincher. And I have a bet with my client. One of us, well, him lose a bet there already, because by the time, you know, when you know what I'm saying? By the time them things are done, tattoo done dep on hand. So yeah, somebody are gonna be a follow for shit. So anyway, moving from that. So from day one, you see these things, and you know for sure there's nothing more intriguing than knowing when you know something is wrong. You have an internal locus of control, so you have a feeling when something is wrong. And when you hear people who can't really articulate themselves, police running, shoot 14-year-old, and they say, no, this is wrong, we want justice. That is the call of somebody that is aware that their constitutional rights, their right to be treated like with humanity, is lost. So right there and then is the crux of what I'm getting at. And so day two comes. Now really talk about the case safe and except for day two comes. Day one horrible, obviously, but we don't know. But day one not going so well, because it's difficult to argue. It's difficult. Women, it's difficult to say to you, you shouldn't work. You shouldn't work. You shouldn't be in the workforce because you're a woman. So in this particular situation, as a woman, you should stay home. As a woman, you shouldn't do certain things. Well, it's the same thing. Black people, you shouldn't be treated as a human being in a white society because you're black. You're not like them. And it's hard to justify that. It's like saying, we need to get back to slavery. Slavery is right, you know, because if you read the Bible right enough, you should obey your masters. If you read the Bible right, you know, you must obey your politicians and vote the color where your community is or left a place. So when you think of it like that, or short people, tell them wicked to, you know, as a short man, 5'11", never really get the 6. The people 6 and over, them hype. But the only thing hyping of them hype is them high, you know, but nothing else. But so I have like 3, my mother have 4 sons, 3 of them gone way over the 6, 6'3", 6'4", I think one of them 6'5". I used to say, boy, I'm a short, but go to St. Thomas and check a Oberman, and the Oberman say, get your antennas up, make sure say your rats grow long, and you know, make sure you have the vibrations and things so the energy can go into your brain, because it's important. Say, yeah, so rather to be short and bright than tall and dunce. Yo, if my brother them beat me up, have to dead for me, you know. So anyway,
the man is a comedian too, you know.
Zambo, I'm so sorry. I know that you're bright, Marcus. I know that you're bright, Peter. You're hopeless. Yo, I guess. All right, let me stop. Anyway, so I'm just trying to identify you, markers of discrimination. I know you're on here, you know, but I'm in the UK, so, and I can fight, Peter. I can fight, but you're old now. Don't lose. Don't mash up your hip. Don't try me. Anyway, yeah. So I was identifying markers of discrimination is what I was trying to identify. Reggae Global people, I know they must be saying, I thought on, I promise you, is water. But yeah, markers of discrimination. So I spoke about the woman, spoke about the black people. So there's a today for you, tomorrow for me. So when you're talking about constitutional rights, I want to make it absolutely clear. And before I left Jamaica, I said this to my clients, you know, the importance and significance of your case, I want you to appreciate that it's not just about you. This is a transition, a monumental moment in the Jamaican society where you're either gonna get rights or not have it. You're either going to be a solid victim of jumping up in the truck back, or being recognized that even if you don't have the money in your pocket, the creatures of the country, creatures of the Constitution, that's why they're creatures. They're humans when they're not in uniform or not in office, but creatures when they're serving you. And they understood it's not just about them, as albeit the benefit of freedom. The benefit of freedom is a recognition that the words on the paper is not just words on the paper, it has force. It's the done of all dones. And every Jamaican has to be passionate about that so they can say, what will I do to me? I know my rights. In countries like the United States, when you identify your rights, they leave you alone. When white people are being racist and they have a job, you say you're racist and they'll be investigated and they'll leave you alone if they are. But the burden must always be that the people must treat you with respect. But at the same time, you must not be offended by the truth. If your mouth stinks, you must go brush your teeth. And if you're ugly, there are things you can do about it. They have cosmetic surgery if you're really not easy on the eyes. And life is so funny because the people around me, like my brothers that I talk about, if I start put on weight, them tell me say belly big and you don't look good. So I have a unit that can make me know to self-check and conflating the two so people can understand that there are times when you will be offended, but it's not a breach of your rights. But there's times when there are persons who are serving you, go on spaces like this and say things about you, find themselves. I heard that in the paper today, some minister had to apologize to some FBI guy because the lawyer wrote them. And I was like, wow. You have your big job and you're gone on show and behaving like Isat, and well, you're not gonna lose your position because you're with the elite, but you're behaving like some lawyer down there and speaking out of turn. So it pays, especially if you're defaming people. But back to the importance of what I'm saying. We know at the right aspect of it, and this is key. This is so important. We know of a jury, 12 of them. Let me show you what a jury used to look like. Who can tell me, and I'm stopping to look at the comments now, who can tell me what's missing from a jury like this? Because back in the days, this is what a jury would look like. I'll try to read the comments. Allison, Guy to Williams, Diana Atkinson, Jamaica Vibes, BCA, Rabbit Teeth. What kind of name that? Kevin, talk to me. What you seeing? See, LLC say no females on the jury. One time for vote, you did have to have land. So no black people not upon them jury because black people never have land. So the concept and idea of the jury from the time of the Magna Carta was that distinguished white men who were noble and who were peers in a society would be the ultimate judges, albeit not from the law, but judges of the facts. And so your peers would have been distinguished gentlemen who would be able to make decisions about you. That's who they were. And so when I was getting my training and my training to speak distinguished, because there was a thought that, as an island boy, you need a little vibe to speak. So you have to try to ensure that you speak dignified and speak like the floor that you sit on, and a little frumpy to ensure that you get it right. But anyway, outside of that, one would realize that a jury of your peers, our charter, make sure it not say jury of your peers, it say unless the charge is withdrawn, you're afforded a fair hearing within a reasonable time by an independent and impartial court established by law. So the jury not have to be your peers. So when you go in a court and you see the helper come in and you see the same Sky Juice man where you never want to get $1, and you see the office manager and you see the JP from Upper South, and you see a doctor and an accountant, and you see somebody from Upper St. Andre, a wife. She usually becomes a foreman because she not on work. But she know if you swipe a credit card because the husband at work. And he sometimes I sleep with the helper, so that goes. So she don't come in on the jury. Well, anyway, that type of so the juries are part of the days of our lives. So that's why you have secrecy of the jury room. Because if you don't know them, they're just people who are citizens that have a right to act. And we have a jury act that says it, as long as you're not mad, as long as you not contact the dead, and as long as you don't go to St. Thomas and you get the frog and you put the lock in the frog mouth and you lock it, and you get the dead man bone, and you say behema, and you get the bottle of white rum, and you remember cream soda, as long as them things are not going to forget the verdict. You're good, and you pretty much know,
clear this up.
You don't have nothing to worry about.
Stop it. 1 second.
But
1 second. Okay. So, based on how he's talking like there shouldn't be a jury. So what's the alternative? You know what I mean? Like he's talking like it is wrong to have a jury. What do you think back up?
Yeah, but trial without jury like call a Newton hearing, Charlie,
So you would think he's saying that maybe it should have been by just the judge, but look what the judge did.
well, it wouldn't just be the judge, it would be the judge, the public servant lawyer, which is the prosecutor, and the defendant lawyer. So each of them would have to buckle it out in a court. However, who would be comfortable with that?
Yeah, but listen now, he's talking like to me he sound like he's laughing off the fact that you have a jury.
Well, to be honest, the system is a macro, so I'm surprised me my laugh after it.
I think that's what
Yeah,
he's talking about, the slackness of the jury and how everything played out. I don't think he was saying that there should not be a jury, because he also referred to the fact that, you know, the way how the thing went is that, you know, he lost respect for the system. And as I can see, you know, he kept throwing words at Paula, subliminal shots there. And, you know, talking about there should be a properly constituted jury, and the jury should be like, you know, the court should be independent and partial, like not having no affiliation or playing no favoritism or anything. And the fact say what work uptown should work for the downtown people. And he referenced the whole Issa case where, you know, the cell phone, the woman run Ghana, Canada, right? And she have the iPhone, and her lawyers kept stalling and stalling and stalling because they didn't want the police to go into the phone. So if they could have waited and stall and stall and stall, then why did they go into Cartel's phone? Why didn't they get proper clearance? And that's when he was talking about the communication. There was a Communication Act breach.
yeah, but yeah, I get that part, but why is he talking like that? Like, I don't know. It just seems like he is ridiculing the fact that in the court system they have juries.
No,
don't
man.
know.
I don't think so. Because remember, even I said the lady, I say her Sunday in a jail. She was also a juror, and her Sunday in a jail with VYBZ Kartel. So those are things that should have not happened.
Yes, but like here, right? Like I was saying earlier, like here, they would vet the jury on both sides. The defense and the prosecutor would agree on who is selected to do the jury. Right? It's not just a random person they pick and say, okay, you are the jury. Remember, in Canada, you can get in trouble if they call you to serve on the jury and you don't go.
Same thing in Jamaica. I think a $50,000 you get if you don't want to do it.
But what I'm saying, right? Like if they need, I don't even know how many they need.
6.
Right? Yeah, if they need 6. It's not 6 people they're gonna call. They're gonna call maybe 100. And then they go through them psychologically, hear their opinions and things, and they go through until, you know, because it's not because you're called, meaning that you're gonna serve on the jury. Right? So they don't vet these people in Jamaica. I would really want to know how it works, because I can't see them have a system where you don't vet these people. I don't know.
I think they do. They do have some form of system, but it's not done as straightforward. It's just done via a list. Looking at the Jury Act, it's just you know, your name is appearing on a list, and they just, you know, take your name from the list. But it's done behind the scenes. It's not done in a court where the defense and the prosecutor kind of vet you and say where you work. Do you know who VYBZ Kartel is? Have you ever heard about the trial? You know, they don't do that.
So that is the problem. That is the problem, because here both sides agree who is gonna serve on the jury. Both sides agree. So in Jamaica, you have one person, man, that's really bad. If that's how it is, where you have just one person say, you're a juror now, that's really bad. That's a bad system. Anyone want to come up on screen, you're free to click on the link where you will see OpinionGuru, and you can come up on screen with us and have this discussion. Backup has left. I'm not sure if he's gonna come back. But anyone else wanna come up on screen, you can. So straight talk, we should continue.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
The complications comes in now when the judge has to balance who is on the jury, because you have a constitutional right to a fair trial. So the jury who are going to be the judge of the facts, they can't be biased. And then you have implicit bias and you have explicit bias. You have the conscious bias and subconscious bias. These are the things that is faced within this trial. Now, everybody know, in them days there, me can't think of one person who don't know ramping shop. It's kind of like in the 90s, all babies were made from R. Kelly. Well, in the 2000s, if you're a 2000 babies, chances are wherever your parents came from, they listen to some VYBZ Kartel, so that's how you got here. Anyway, moving from that, that jury was made up of people who were being bribed from as far back as November. You would have heard the respondent, that's the lawyer for the prosecution, says, listen, the man is corrupt. One juror is corrupt. One juror is convicted of trying to attempt to pervert the course of justice. That's bribing. But this man used to went to lunch with them, knew them from even before the first juror came out. There was it. And none of them from November to March, to the 13th of March, none of them don't go to the judge. You get bribed from way back in November, and none of you don't listen to oath and signal, nothing. But them saying you must pretend that those persons is not listening. And that is a matter for just the common man with common sense to understand that don't feel right. Because justice must not only be seen to be done, it's not just justice must not only be done, it must be seen to be done. So when people said that don't look right, that's the starting point. So if you want to convict somebody, you must do it legally. It's almost like you can't, two wrongs don't make a right. And to ask that you waive it, waive my wrongs because that person is wrong, is the most kindergarten response and an absurdity in the law. A lack of respect for what we as Jamaicans decided to do to protect. Somebody say, Isat, what does your peers mean? Is it race and status considered? All right, so if Queen was here, in Jamaica, everybody bad, poor. Your peers is everybody. We drive on the same road from the same road as you. If you're a Jamaican, you are my peers. Whether you try, out of many, one is your peers. The thing is, You have to identify discrimination. You have, and remember, you know, there are a lot of broken people in society. A lot of broken people. And I'm wanting people to appreciate this. I want people to
Hamilton, you're
appreciate
right.
this,
Please
because
give us a
I hope
like.
it's not a situation where I'm gonna
Please
have to
give us
change
a
the
like.
battery in my camera
Thank
because I see
you.
my camera gone. But I want people to appreciate this aspect. No, it's me turning it off. Come here, an idiot. Oh yes, me an idiot. All right, yeah. Camera change. Look like the other one gone. Yeah, but it's a good thing. I have a backup camera. Yeah. So I want people to appreciate that aspect of it. That is your peers. Now, going back to, yeah, going back to what I was saying about your peers, going back to what you're saying about the jury. So this bribery was going on from as far as back, and so here are hypotheticals. Suppose you get bribe and you get a little money and you get all of $500,000, and you say, yeah, man, I leg of the people them. If it's a good little scammer, you want just get away. You want just get away. What you do? You just come off of the jury and leave the people them. These are hypotheticals. I'm not accusing. I'm just showing you why it is absurd to assume that 10 people. Me don't think say you can find 10 people and put them in a one room and all of them righteous. I don't believe that. No, I don't believe that. I'm not even going to assume that. What is important is that fair trial has to have a higher standard than speculation. And so, what if that happened? What if she said, "Me get the $500 from the man, and I just run left them," and she come off of the jury, make up a story? Or what if they say, here's what we're gonna do for trick them now. When we are gonna split up the money, and what we are gonna do is you are gonna go off first, and then we down to 11, and then on the end of the day now, while the judge are run off him mouth, we're gonna just go on like say we are tape each other. What and then me I go in there, cause I nice him up already, you know, saying believe in me, cause I'm sweet. And so me I go just go on like say, you would do it, and then him I go just discharge me. And then when we go in and I tell him, yeah, cause them bad mind me, you know, as me's the one where me's the foreman. So and me are the done on the jury. And you hear the judge say, me not discharge anybody. You run in and you said, rotted. Him now let we go so we can't split up the money. What we gonna do now? All right, here what we gonna do. And them lock we in the room and him say police outside. And what we gonna do? All right, so here what we gonna do. We're gonna just find 4 of them guilty and Lego one of them. Which one of them are gonna Lego? The one where them not really talk about. You see them all, them are technological. Me don't even have one cell phone where me can use, much less know about them something. I don't even know if to turn on video, because if you know anything about phone, we are in our year, this 2024. And if you buy a smartphone and you're foo like me, phone smart and the way of me done. Look, me have camera where me I look on and the next one gone, me don't even know what go on. I mean, my brain will hurt me. Because me are the fool, but the camera them smart. Anyway, I'm just giving you hypotheticals. What sounds wrong with that is I did it because I know if this is when people go back and watch this, they're going to say, oh my God, how could he say these things about these people? But that's the exact point. You cannot call on a court to speculate what would have been the minds of these distinguished men. You just simply can't do that. It's kind of like this. Let me show you why context matters. Sorry, TikTok, you're not seeing this, but you should be also looking at Isat Buchanan 5419, the Context Matters channel. Know the work rules, right? Here's what's appropriate. Possibly if you're the boss, or if you're, I don't know, looking at the picture, you don't have to say it. This is how speculation works, and this is why they say context matters. Because Jay-Z goes up at the Grammys and he says, Beyonce deserves a Grammy. oh, she's my wife. Blue Ivy, yeah. I run the Super Bowl, whatever. And he says Beyonce should get a Grammy, and the person says, oh, so you're so sweet, it's all right. But when Kanye West say Beyonce deserves a Grammy, everybody say, yo, call the paramedics, call the psycho people, Kanye, he might lose his mind again. Yeezy are losing mind again. And so it's not what he said, it's who said it. And when people say it, they come at you differently. So, and this is why we know that context matters, because sometimes the truth is the truth and it's offensive only because some people, when they say it, they're not supposed to say it. They are not supposed to be the one saying it. How dare you say it? How dare you be the one to say it? And we are rejecting the fact that you are the one who's saying it. See, yeah, so I'm putting that out. Anyway, so what we're faced with now is the judge ultimately could not discharge the poison. And that is what we were talking about today, having a poison. So you ever buy grapes? Or you ever buy a bag of fruits, a bag of orange, and one of them spoil, and it rests on the next one, it makes the next one rotten. And that's why them say, rotten grapes spoil the whole bunch. The same thing. Anything rotten, you put something rotten around things fresh, it contaminates it. And if you leave a rotten grape in a bag of grapes and you leave it, it ferments, and then after it rotten and all of that, the drunken people them turn it in a wine and then them drink and drunk. And then when them drunk, them get them 30 pieces of silver and then them turn Judas. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. You get the point. I don't have to get too much into that. Save on to say that you must know, would you want, it's almost like this. Jamaica have a scamming problem. Would you want a scammer upon your jury? Would you want that, knowing it? It's almost like this. Let me show you this new standard. Let me give you the new standard because I want you to appreciate this. Uno no say 6 people in a parliament corrupt. Uno don't know them name. Uno really all right with that? Because that's what happened. That is exactly what happened. And the court sanctioned that. So that is why in the Jamaican space, certain things don't matter. Can you know say somebody, but me them have strength for? Me will do my time and finish my time, and years gone. Years, so much years gone. To my age up there like Moses, the way of me whole. And you talk about things me do when me did young. Yeah? And they say, oh, you shouldn't be in the profession. Oh my God, how them have him in the profession? And you read the comments and them say, yes, yeah. What them say? Why? How them have him in the Privy Council talk and him a convict? What a thing. Yeah, this sounds so stupid. But when you know what me in a profession, but you can have 6 corrupt people in the same parliament. I own a friend. When you don't want, it's a problem for people because it offends the moral standard. Because people no one identify. That's why you see me. You see if he's a drunk, me want to say he's a drunk. So in the white room there and you say, yo, me forward, me lock up my white room. If he's a thief, me want to know he's a thief. Just ask Jesus. Because he knows that Peter is a little fraud and they're gonna deny him. Here, Peter. Is it me? Oh no. Jesus said, you see when the clock strikes 3, you are gonna deny me. And when the people say, run, boy, run. Well, come for Peter. Peter said, I don't know him. Don't mix me. I don't know him. And no, I'm not talking about Peter Bunting or Peter Phillips. I'm talking about Peter that was walking around.
He's a comedian,
yes. But not never sweeter. Here, doubted Tom. Is it me? Oh, no, you, Tom. You doubtful. Don't worry about yourself. Here, Judas. Is it me? Jesus saying, Lord God. I should have just take my sword and just chow. Anyway, but Jesus put on the sword. But him did go pray and him said, God, take this away from me because I can't believe my good brethren are going to betray me for 30 pieces of silver. Because then we take the money. So it's good. Jesus knew. And so the 12 disciples represent the 12 jurors. who are a juror of your peers. That is the key thing about it. The 12 disciples represent the 12 jurors of your peers. So it tells you that in the disciples, at least one of them are going to sell out. At least one will sell out.
Satire.
And so what it is the most important thing is that you must get a fair trial because it's you. So when you hear things that talk about, I waive it and I took the gamble. Took the gamble with my life.
Yep.
You took a gamble with my life and you're asking the apex court to respect that you are a gambler. Guys, if you gamble with my life, you will gamble for 30 pieces of silver. Anybody will tell me say them a gambler, me no want them around my money because it look like a SSL you come from. And if you declare yourself a gambler, you should resign from your position. How you think about that? It sounds wrong.
He's right.
And so here we have a poison that was allowed to stay and fester. And if you know anything about people, just put them in a room and poison them. And you see the result of that. That's it, That's it. But I digress. I'm not here to speak about politics. I'm here to speak about context matters and to be careful about the words that you use because they can be emotive. Yes? Because right now, suppose I say, yo, I'm on the KFC boss, but done a KFC. Me run every KFC around in the place. So it's when it come to barbecue chicken, not even the pan chicken man them can come test me. Call me a KFC boss. Yeah. It's context. Just saying I love barbecue chicken, but no. Leave it to them. They're going to say, oh my God, he's running a chain of restaurants and we have identified from our intelligence that gang is red and white them use. And them have a branch in a crossroad, 2 in a half a tree, 1 pan Red Hills Road, 1 pan Boulevard. Them have 1 in a Mountain View, and them have 1 down a roundabout, and them have all 1 in the airport. And so it's a big organization all across Jamaica. And our intelligence says for that we must charge them for hunter gang. All the work of them wear red. It's a big organization. And what them do is to make the people them line up and take them money and them give them the product. That is how it works. And then when you find out, say, I just chicken, you say, well, keep them anyway because we need a second bite to try to ensure that we do our job because we never do our job because we were overzealous and we overcompensated and tried our best to ensure that we breach rights because this is a monumental moment and it will look good on the record. Yeah, that aspect of it. And so I'm just sharing this because I set the stage to talk about just basics, because I tell you this is it's 4 years. It's really more than 4, but 4 years as lead, as a person responsible, not just a researcher, because my independent research paper in school was jury, so I pretty much put this into existence. So when you prepare, you kind of know it. Now, I've read more than 2,000 cases all across the world. I've read every constitution, as long as it's in the English language, for comparative purposes. Jamaica is the most superior when it comes to charter. I ask anybody to challenge me on the charter now, and not if they change it and the people don't vote. And I've never seen in the modern common law, when constitutional rights matter, when slavery ended, when black people started to be treated like human beings rather than just breeding horses. And I can tell you this, even today, black man, you're not supposed to be intelligent, but just make sure, say, you can lay a pipe and you can do this. You know, a plumber, put it in context, and make sure that if you're a carpenter, you can, you know, anyway. But to be more precise, and pedantic and exacting now, never in common law, and not in my lifetime, has there ever been a poison placed on a jury, a corrupted person that we know are corrupted, like 6 people in parliament that we know are accused of corruption and are allowed to stay there by process and procedure. Never has that happened when it comes to a man's liberty. A man's liberty is at stake. And corruption is what was used to send the 4 men to prison. You see how Jamaica corrupted? Corruption was sanctioned, and you witness it for 2 days. They begged for corruption to be certified. Corruption, you know, they took corruption out of Jamaica and brought it to the streets of England and walked into the apex courts of our land and said, these are our submission. Corruption can be allowed to stand. We turn a blind eye to it because that is what we want. That's what we want for our nation, to be allowed to let corruption stand in pockets. And even when we know, provided in a particular situation, people we don't like, people from a certain area, we can deal with them, and we should have that power. If that is not dangerous, I don't know what danger is. If that is not concerning, I don't know what it is. And it is in that vein that I just want to talk to people who don't. I don't want to get bored of me quick, you know. So I don't want to lose or distract people, but to say that we're gonna talk about the jury. We're gonna talk about ideally, because sometimes some people taste your spirit, you know, and you have to sit down and say, more time you have to say, yo, man, do something, you know. But then you think, can't go lay down at the people them dog kennel. It's not like America, where they actually have, you know, prison conditions that are conducive in the federal space. Or it's not like Denmark or spaces where actual white people live and they have to make sure say they don't breach human rights. But the conditions is not in a place where you would have to respect yourself. So you don't even want to thief a mango because they're going to treat you like you did commit a murder. You don't want to lose your conscience. And the thing about it is, that's one aspect of it. Because if you put it in context, there are people who say, yo, this are me and this are what I'm going to do no matter what. And so these things aren't deterrents of crime. And these are the conversations that we have to have. But to have these conversations, the system must be a working system without the possibility of cracks in the system that would allow the common man, and when I say common, I'm not talking common like common foul, but the man, a simpleton, a man who say, I don't want much, you know, I just want to do my 9 to 5, I just want to work my $13,000 a week, and I just want, when Friday come, I just go in on my KFC line and get myself a meal deal. Can't even afford a big deal. So 1 piece of chicken for me, and the thigh or the breast for the daughter, because she can't cook. Non yam for her man anyway, because I don't want her poison me. Them kind of things there. So for the simpleton to look on, and when he looks on, he says, you know, you don't want nobody take away from your simple life. And you look on and him said, boy, because the country me living in, it's a place where I know, say, if I work hard and I do my best, I will have pride and joy, and I can have hopes and dreams. And if I miss the boat, my kids will probably make me proud one day. Because that's what happened. Bob Marley mother have 9 kids. Bolt mother have 9 kids. If that and look what came from that. We can do I need to talk about the Jacksons and Serena Williams and her sister them and the Tony Braxtons. Whole heap of picnic, you must get a star when you have whole heap of picnic. So then the nurse lady would not say, oh, the Jamaican people them stop have picnic. Because if it was busy procreating, you probably wouldn't be out there committing crimes. But I digress. I don't know. Maybe I'm no authority for that. But the point I'm making is, and we're at the commercial break, so I just really have, I'm gonna have to break, and then we pick this up back. So let's just let the time pass.
Well, he's gone on a
sir.
break.
Yeah.
So,
all right, remove that.
He's basically saying that.
So now,
the juror.
While that happens. So as I said, I want to talk to you guys about the jury.
Pause.
So even while they're on the commercial break, is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's basically saying that, because you remember he was saying that if you have a bag and it has one grape and the grape was spoiled, it will ferment and cause everything to spoil.
Yes.
So that simply means if you have one juror that is bad, that juror is gonna make everybody bad.
Potentially,
yeah. So I don't know why the judge would allow that juror to stay.
Yeah, because, as he said, the bribe started from November, and it was nobody said anything until March. So, and they were, the jury should have been disbanded because they were fraternizing, they were having lunch dates, right? And when you allow certain things to happen like that, you end up losing respect for the system, and you lose confidence in the system also.
So this is gonna be like an avalanche, So imagine Ninja Man come now and say one of the Jew.
Yeah.
Jamaica.
You know what you see with Ninja Man case too? That lady was after him, and if she can't catch your full hand, she would try to grab onto like your collar while you're running. So that's the problem with her, as big embarrassment, as previously I said. You go to the court, you go all the way, you leave Jamaica, pack up your luggage, pack up your documents them, and you go to the people them court. And here is the one of the representatives in the courthouse now asking you if you have an updated copy of the Constitution, because you're arguing about Constitution, this and that and blah blah, and you are rushed to look in your bag, eh? And you're gonna say, oh, you're long with the tongue, like you're just big and fool. You know what I mean? How dare you leave your house and you're going to argue something and you don't even have the basic fundamentals?
She's
and look at it. It's sat right there, so in front of everybody. I'll show you, say him have him Bible.
Yes.
And he go everywhere with it.
Yes.
So he walk prepare, with a big self, and you're getting all this government money, and you're not prepared.
It's an embarrassment, and it really show up the fact that Jamaica is a third world country. And it's sad. It's sad. Because
prepared, rushing.
basically
Them not have no friend in England, you know. Them not have no friend, you know. So that's
No.
why when the light turn on, you're seeing all the bad patches what them do.
Yeah.
You know? They have no friend. If this was Jamaica, should have their skin her teeth and sit down and say, when they can't catch me. But when somebody else is scrutinizing and going through her stuff, whole heap of gaps.
Yes. People, please give us a thumbs up. Please give us a thumbs up. That's all we ask. Please give us a thumbs up. So they are basically saying that, okay, he left this one juror, and the judge is saying that the juror, he reminded all the other 10 of their oath that they took to be fair and whatever else. I don't know the oath. And that was enough. And I hear their lawyer arguing that it's 10-1. So that is good enough. It's 10-1. So he's basically saying that the gamble is, okay, the 10 is gonna vote to convict, and the 1 probably not gonna vote to convict. So we will live with that majority. I thought it should be unanimous.
Not necessarily.
But they are he was basically telling the appeal people, judges, that it's okay. With this one, it's okay. If this one is not on board, it's okay. If this one is corrupt, it's okay. And I'm thinking, like, why would you want a juror?
But you know what? I don't think they
one on it that is corrupt.
But you know what? I don't think the jury was the problem. Right? I think they randomly them just pick some people, put them on the jury, never the due diligence to research their background, as you said before. And then somebody from the outside go and approach one of the weak link them inside here, the licky one, to take some money. And it was that person's job to try to convince the others to take the money. But when everything come out now and them start to do official research, they realize this policeman did this, that the person was that. So yes, so I think that's when everything started to come out. Because at the end of the day, you know, but thinking out loud too, who to tell? Because on one side they can have this man giving them money to say, yo, don't vote guilty, you know, don't vote guilty. On the other side, no, you can have, you know, Paula, she and her minions them, have the police that harass these people. You better do them, you better find guilty, you know. We don't know because we're not hear nothing about these jurors.
No.
We don't hear nothing about them, and you know, to say, okay, were they getting any form of threats from the other side? Were they giving any promises? We're gonna secure visas for you and your family so you can go foreign. Right? Because as politicians, they have the pull to do certain things.
Yeah. And the other thing that they were stressing too is the whole thing about bias, right? Because they are saying that maybe one of them was corrupt, but because that person, like everybody, know that they are corrupt, then even if evidence was there to acquit, they are gonna convict because they wanna prove that they are not corrupt or that the other
No, sir.
person did not corrupt them.
No,
So
sir.
they are gonna
When
overcompensate and convict. It's a terrible thing.
you listen to the character sketch of these people, I don't think they have much education. So I don't think that would be the case for the jurors, right? Me feel say them get some form of kickback from the government because you know say, you know, if you go find this man guilty, you know, them don't know who you is, you know, because them do them research and rare find out who you is. Them are gonna send them goons to say, rare. So me now go find you guilty and know say me stuck at Jamaica and I have to deal with the backlash afterwards. Where are these jurors? That me want to know. They must run Ghana foreign, get opportunity through the government and Ghana foreign.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that this is what they were arguing at in the appeal, the Privy Council. They were arguing that about bias, where they are saying that even if it's only one person on the jury that is biased, because everyone know it came out in the paper, everyone know that there is one biased jury, one corrupt jury. They are saying that the other 10, even if they hear evidence that will acquit the artist, they will not, because they have the unconscious bias where everybody expect us to take the money and acquit. So we are not gonna acquit, we are gonna convict.
Hello, let me tell you something. Life out of Jamaica. You hear me tell you?
No, I'm telling you
Life
what they are
hard. So
arguing.
if me, I don't think there's no.
Trial.
I know there's unconscious bias on them something there. But looking at the whole makeup of the jury, as I said, them education standard no really dictate such. Life hard. Who the hell is going to turn down money and still live in a Jamaica and live in a hard life? Eh? Who are going to do that?
Because Jamaica has a witness protection program.
Witness protection program on backside?
No, they do. They will send you to another island and set you up. Yeah.
C4. Look on C4. Eh? Look on C4. What kind of protection? I go fund me if I give money right now.
Boy, I think they have
them put you in a house, yes. They put you in a house
they
whatever.
Move you from Jamaica to
not all the time.
In one of these big countries like Canada, US, England.
Not all the time.
Put you in a small island. Or my island people, sorry, another island. They put,
how dare you?
They take you from Jamaica and they put you in another island and set you up, different name, everything. Boy, the judge caused this problem. And to me, I don't, because I know no one is arguing if the DJ is guilty or innocent. It's about this thing. And that is why he's saying that it's about human rights. And based on what he's saying.
So what about the human rights of the alleged person who was killed?
Boy, that is another story, you know.
What about the human rights of the persons who are being bribed? What about the human rights of the person who was initially bribed to bribe the others?
Straight talk, it big on me.
Okay.
This big on me. But it's some valid points you are raising, boy. But this is a big technical problem that
First of all, human rights don't cover the facts that when you're in jail, you're supposed to be working a traditional or continuing your original source of employment. Okay, so that is something government need to cut out. You're in jail, you're not supposed to go to studio go make music, but you're getting that. Is that one of your rights? No.
He wasn't the first though.
But I'm just saying that it's supposed to be cut out. Cut out.
But they need some form of rehabilitation in there, you know.
Yes, that is true. Rehabilitation is good. That is true. You can go back to making woodwork. You can go get we need an increase in trades because you see, if you can laugh as much as you want, because you see, right now Andrew Owners is going to the Spanish countries and bringing electricians, builders, and everything to Jamaica. So they need to go set up an art institute inside the prison system and get these people reformed. Give them a trade so when them come out, them can do like a welding or them can do like a woodworking.
That is true. That is true. So you think that is like a similar system that Ninja Man is suggesting?
Yes, and also, too, overall, we have to not focus too much, or not really to focus too much. We can't put all the blame on the government or the judge, because if we raise our children right, them are going to have some ideology of right from wrong and what is acceptable. So I think we're trying to bend the tree when it all, because if we teach them, say, one, try to walk on the straight line, right? You're not going to have so much court mix up and blender type of situation.
Someone in the comment section, Van, saying that you sound like a hater.
No, man, I don't really say me I hate, But hater in what regard?
No, you know the Gaza camp big straight talk.
No, but we are talk straight, we not talk lean. They have to just do better. Do better. You can't want go around and push badness, and when fire come on your foot, then you want ball about human rights.
And they are saying that the government is corrupt and they take advantage of people not knowing their rights.
That is true. But guess what? We can't rely upon the government to teach us everything. We as a people have to take the initiative, because guess what? We as Jamaican people, nobody now have to teach you about the latest hairstyle or clothes or whatever. The government now teach them something, but we go out there and research it. We go out there and find out what is the best car and this and that and over. You know what I mean? So we have to take up certain things on ourselves and go out there and find out.
So is the Jamaican Constitution online?
Yes.
It is online.
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Just like how we can download Instagram or we can surf Instagram, we can use the eyes and surf the Constitution online and know our rights.
I didn't know that it was online. Because remember, back in the day, we used to have to go down to the institute to find a lot of stuff that we wanted to know about Jamaica.
Yeah, you got a long time Tom Redcom library have a book,
Yeah, but not Tom Redcom, the institute which is downtown. That is where
yeah, but those things are Tom Redcom also. Those things are Tom Redcom also.
Really?
Yes, it's a library.
So Tamredcom is still there?
Of course.
Okay. I remember every Saturday we used to be at Tamredcom.
Oh.
It was like a meeting. Tamredcom was a meeting spot.
Yeah.
A meeting spot for the future leaders, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So, you think we should play it a little bit more?
Yeah. Yes, please.
Okay. All right, people, please give us a like. We're gonna continue listening to Isat. All right.
It's a good little way to go. So I think it can work. So the jury system now. So I have said a lot, but it's context. And as I said, in the context, and because I know people like to cut up and snip up. So let me make something clear. Speculation is a dangerous tool. It is not based on facts. It is based on too many hypotheticals. It's not even circumstantial. It is completely ludicrous. It's like people in
Free
speculation,
spirit,
you can
big
include
up.
aliens, you can include teleportation, you can include time travel, because you speculate that so it would have happened. So if somebody don't come by plane and them don't come by boat, them teleport. You see me? You overs. You understand? You overstand. But with speculation, it is a problem. So here's the thing. Jury trials, and we're back. Reggae Global Radio, you're listening to Context Matters. And if you're joining from YouTube, welcome. If you're on the TikTok, big up yourself, tap up the screen and share. Anyway, yes, that's correct. 2 to 3 months. Well, we get it at we're not rushing the lords. They will do what they have to do, and they have a reputation to always be on time, because delay is also a part of the Constitution. A breach of the Constitution is delay, and whatever compensation from the delay is a matter for the court, but they recognize that. So the jury trials are already an essential part of fair trial rights. So the right to a fair trial means that if we are charged with a criminal offense, or if a public body is making decisions that impact our right, this has to be fair. So a fair hearing is what has to be fair. You must get the opportunity to be heard. Once you get the opportunity to be heard, you can't go wrong in a life. So let's look at this now. I always, on Context Matters, talk about Socrates. So Socrates, when he made his final address to the jury before being led off to prison, he warns those that sentencing him, they will hereafter be blamed for putting a wise man to death. So even in days of the philosophers in Athens, that people were being wrongfully convicted. And they said if only they had a little patience, he suggests he would have died without the help. After all, he's already an old man of 70. So sometimes you see them all, when the people them are 70, them are prosecute them and send them to prison for make them live out the little bit of the rest of them days. No compassion, no humanity. So anyway, in his case, following the arguments, the herald of the court called on the jurors to consider their decision. So in Athens, jurors did not retire to a jury room to deliberate. They made their decisions without discussing among themselves, and based in large part on their own interpretations of the law. So the 500 jurors voted on his guilt or innocence by dropping bronze ballot disc of the sort pictured above into mark urns. So y'all can't see it, but just visualize it like Plato's cave. I've given you all the concept of that. Very descriptive. So only a majority vote was necessary for conviction. Why am I speaking about this? Well, the 4 men we are talking about were convicted by majority verdict. So just listen to this now. 4 jurors were assigned the task of counting votes. In the case of Socrates, the jury found Socrates guilty on a relatively close vote of 280 to 220. So interestingly, if less than 100 jurors voted for guilt, the accusers had to pay a fine to cover trial costs. If a defendant is convicted, the trial enters a second phase to set punishment. The prosecution and defendant each propose a punishment, and the jury chooses between the 2 punishment options presented to it. The range of possible punishment included death, imprisonment, loss of civil rights, i.e. the right to vote, the right to serve as a juror, and the right to speak in the assembly. So you see, when you are convicted, you lose the right to serve as a juror. So imagine you pervert the courts of justice, and then you want to remain as a juror. The minute you pervert the course of justice or attempt, you commit a criminal offense and you should be removed. It's not rocket science. But the reason the judge didn't remove the man is because if he moves the man, he has to discharge the entire jury. So he's placed between a rock and a hard place, and his decision, I don't think persons can say that that decision would have been one in contemplation of fair trial rights. That is the argument that is put there. So naturally, Socrates, he was sentenced to death. He chose death, and he died by drinking hemlock. Because who wants to live in a world where people just don't have no respect for human rights? But the difference in the modern time is the people, you have to stay alive and fight for your freedoms and your rights, because there are many before us: Marcus Garvey, Paul Bogle, Sam Sharp. Some of them died, and they had to fight for our freedoms, for us to now be doing that to our brothers and sisters and being unfair to them. So Lord Camden quoted in Rosemary Bell Antoine's Commonwealth, Caribbean Law and Legal Systems that trial by jury is indeed the foundation of our free constitution. When you take that away, the whole fabric will soon mold into dust. You hear that? It is indeed the foundation of our free constitution, and when you take it away, the whole fabric of the justice system mold into dust. So in recent times, the jury system has come under a lot of criticism, and certainly for this one, it will be, however, argued that for all the drawbacks, there are stronger advantages supporting the retention of the jury system and a lack of adequate alternative, and shows that a common law community, we are not quite ready to abolish the jury system. So there was a whole talk by a famous journalist that if this case wins, Jamaica will abolish the jury system. I don't think so. I think legislators simply have to legislate that if you tamper with the jury or there is jury tampering, the trial continues with judge alone. That's what happens in England. So it preserved the jury system, and if you really want to be tried by a jury of your peers, you won't tamper with the system. So according to the Ministry of Justice of Jamaica, persons accused of certain crime acts are judged by a jury of their peers, a practice inherited from the British jurisprudence. A jury is a group of people drawn from civil society and who bring their common sense, experience, and wisdom to the matter of determining the guilt or innocence of a fellow citizen. This is done because of the belief that these jurors understand the nuances and idiosyncrasies of their society and bring their collective experience to bear on a trial. The trial by jury ensures that the citizens of a state are accountable to each other for decisions made rather than to a government-appointed judge. So in other words, the basis for a jury is that it is a representative cross-section of the local community and therefore is more likely to judge in line with generally accepted values of the society. So jurors represent diverse backgrounds and therefore individual prejudices are likely to be neutralized. So justification for trial by jury is naturally what you would have heard just now. So what are the criticisms? Well, the first kink in the system is the selection process. With a wide list of exemptions, this results in a narrow pool of eligible persons who can be selected to sit on the panel. Most public officials, lawyers, and persons who provide essential services such as doctors and soldiers are exempted from jury service. This has an impact on the composition of the jury and raises the question whether the jury represents the defendant's peers and attains a true representation of society. So jury qualifications result in both gender and class inequality, with results in a composition which seldom represents the defendant. So you can imagine being an artist, you can imagine being a successful, and then the people who going to come and sit on your jury, your guys and the whole gully and the whole I don't really know nothing other than Gaza and gully. Where the other people them name? Somebody help me out. Oh, you missed that interview already. There was one already, you know. You will see the update. Check it out when it happened. Vendetta, yeah, those vendetta people, and yeah, and whatever those other people are, and you can imagine they come on the jury and say, this is the opportunity for me to do good for my vendetta people and the crux people, and the general side people, and the 66 1XXX people, yeah, and the Psalms 91 people too, yeah. All
He's
of those
a comedian,
people, yeah.
eh?
Can you imagine? And they want to eliminate the competition. So could they ever really be a part your peers if they're biased and they don't indicate that to the jury? So they always talk about the unrepresentative composition of the jury is further compounded by the small multicultural societies found in the Caribbean. So another concern is inconsistencies between verdicts given and the evidence presented in court. So let's talk about that. You don't know, you can't even use a cell phone, but you bring back evidence, you bring back technological evidence in less than, you're ready to find people guilty in less than 2 hours after a 65-day trial. Some people don't even work 65 days in their life, and them can come and talk, them are gonna take information. I'm criticizing, you know, so this is the criticism. So context matters. Anyway, what I'm drawing your attention to is after 65 days of trial, you get a bunch of, and here I'm going to take this part and say, Isat is so disrespectful. Uneducated people, put them in a room and expect them, and uneducated in the sense that they are not forensic experts. Their competence level in terms of technological information is a little bit superior, and so they need a lot more instructions to understand that what they're supposed to do. Compound that with a situation where there is bribery. There's a situation where they know that they will go to prison when they vote. To put it in time a different way, pressure under them, fire under them, moose tail, and then think a cool breeze. And the result is, if you stay true to what you're supposed to do, you'll go to prison. And evidence of that is one of the man get found guilty and them send the man go to prison. Who's gonna put themselves through that? Think on these things. So anyway, given that, there's a whole lot of conversation that it leads to the jury disregarding the rules of law and coming up with inaccurate verdicts. An example where the jury considered both facts and law, though erroneously left to them, can be seen in the case of Sukram, 1971, where they had to determine whether the issue of self-defense rose on the facts. A task the court held was for the judge and not the jury. So sometimes there are tasks held for the judge and not the jury, but that's not the complaints everyone, except for when things are complicated, your peers is not necessarily the best person to assist or help you. I have to be very mindful of that and care about that. Hold on. Nicole, so why was the evidence seen evidence scene bulldozer down. I glad that was raised today, but the scene was in police custody when that happened. So the best person to ask is the police. What's the next question? And these are the critiques, or these are the things that's happening that you expect to the things was raised that there was an odor in the house, but the dog did dead, and that was said it. They said that there was blood, that those things not true. So we have to be careful in terms of the reality of what's in the space and what is not. But I'm not here to try no case because I wasn't the trial attorney. Big up yourself, Mr. Tom Tavares, KFC. Mr. Vincent, KFC boss. So the perceived ignorance and incompetence of the jury is another cause for concern. In Nanan and the State, 1986, the foreman instructed the jury that a majority verdict was needed when, in fact, it should have been unanimous, as he did not know the meaning of the word unanimous. Literacy and low level of education can have a negative impact on the process of trial by jury. I'm reading from a book, so if anybody think I'm disrespecting, I'm showing you what the critique is. Can you imagine somebody come and say, yeah, we have to get a majority verdict, that's how we do it. Because you see, in my constituency, when we have vote all the people them, and the majority of them we use, and we have to be majority on this when he's trying to say unanimous. Think on those things. Jury may place too much emphasis on their feelings.
Yeah.
Feelings, nothing more than my feelings. And it allowed their decisions to be affected by sympathies for the defendant or the victim instead of making their decisions on the evidence alone. According to Antoine, this leads to an unfair lack of uniformity in decisions and to an unpredictability in the law, since jury law will change from case to case and from jury to jury. So it is unlike the certainty of a judicial precedent which followed on points of legal principle. So jurors may also be affected by prejudice and bias. And it is believed that juries are greatly influenced by the appearance, class, and manner of defendants and witnesses. For example, the negative view of Rastafarians. Jurors may be willing to let their prejudices make up their minds before the trial even begin. And trust me, it's not just jurors. I can tell you, I went in front of some people and just my Rasta alone made them say, yo, I'm the worst.
Draw down the hat pan him head.
With 2 years, eh? So the jurors' engagement during the trial, which may be affected by boredom or willingness to be present, is also a cause of concern. So it is quite possible for decisions to be rushed because jurors want to go home. These things sound familiar? Think on these things. Yes, BCA. Yes, Lotto. Big up the rat. Yeah, Demon. What kind of name that? Sunshine. Rochelle. Yeah, you're following me. Big up my TikTok people. Why the police officer bring home the accused phone? So them days they phone did hard for buy, and Blackberry and them things there. When you have your little Nokia banger, you want to play with a Blackberry and them things there. So you take home the phone and you go to KFC and you buy a 6-piece and you say, hey my girl, may I come check you? May I bring some KFC for you? And then you yeah, you know, you give me the ungle mengle. Yeah. So in the smaller jurisdictions within the Commonwealth Caribbean, the general problems with jury trials are often exacerbated. So local knowledge of the defendant and or the crime can lead to impartiality, and this is magnified by ease of access to new reports and even further magnified by the technological advances of the modern era. So this begs the question of how well the jury system can work in the 21st century now that the internet makes it impossible to research a defendant's or witness history. How can you ask for a retrial given the mass publicity for years with the most popular human being in the criminal justice system at the moment? Just you just let me know that. So it has been said that jury system lacks transparency as the members cannot be held accountable for their decisions as they are not required to give reasons as in the case of judicial judgments. If the members of the jury were to behave in a perverse or improper manner, it would never be known. it may be suggested that the only way to achieve transparency in the system is for trials to be determined by a single judge or 3 judges. So these are the criticisms. And when you hear the criticisms and you see what is being discussed about the jury room, and to say, after you're talking about all the cultural dynamics, it's easy, you know, all you have to try this. It's easy to get on a bus and just say somebody arms stink. Everybody are gonna move from them, and all of a sudden everybody smell it. All if one of them. I go as far as pass gas on the bus and blame somebody in the front, and everybody are gonna skin up them face and say they're nasty, and they don't investigate. They just believe. So everybody can just tell people. So you just can tell lie on somebody. Just try this. Go to Portmore and let off your friend a back road and say, may I go to KFC and come back, come pick you up. And somebody just want to see you, let off. Somebody just want to see you at back road, and argument done. Then somebody say, yeah, so and so hanging out at back road, and it done. You can't resuscitate your character so easily, because people is gonna say that them see you doing there, and they make assumptions when things aren't so. And so that is the crux of it, that you have to, if you're dealing with fair trial rights and you're protecting, remember, you know, what's the balance? You people to say the cost of a trial. Are you a can go a trial? You know, the cost of a trial on the state is more important than the life and liberty of somebody. Is a very horrible place to that's not a gamble, and the Constitution doesn't contemplate that. And when the Constitution made that public interest, was to make sure that you're protected from that. So when I'm speaking to you all now, and I'm trying to make sure that my audience understands what we're faced with, understands what we're dealing with. Give me 1 second. Once we understand this to be the reality, you see how different instantly what we're faced with comes into the forefront. So the disadvantages can be countered by many advantages, some of which highlight the flaws in the criticism. So the most favorable advantage of trial by jury is the fact that the jury's verdict is the expression of the community's conscience. And so if that is tainted by a poison, remember, conscience is a moral thing, because if it's simple this. If you're not guilty, why you need to bribe them? Because that's a government. If you're a helper, you're gonna say, want come bribe me. Like, I know I go to church every week. If you need, my boss not pay me no extra money, you know. The only time I get extra money is when me catch him a halfway tree, I drop off in human. Me start get extra money if you not tell the missus. So this year, man, you know, I can't talk about him. Him and give me money for Lego man. The man name most guilty. Think me an idiot, me a sense. So you see, I mean, now me I got vote guilty upon them, but him a sing about ramping shop. And I them think they, I saw me get me first, baby. That's the kind of conversation, the simplicity of the conversations. And so the helper on the jury now say, me I got take me moral high road coming. Now I'm getting at them his scheme is him, come he's a 7-day Adventist. Me nah backslide. And me show my partner. Yeah, this is I'm giving you the cultural dynamics, because the thing. Let me tell you something about a jury. Put me upon a jury and make my spirit not take you. Now it means a lawyer. Make my spirit not take you. If my spirit not take you, you go to prison. And if me ever walk in at the courtroom and me feel like say the defense lawyer attack too strong, me just go find the client guilty. And if me go in there and the prosecutor ugly, the client now go guilty. And if it and these are biases, and you're not required. You can't even question it. And so to deal with the taint is a problem. Listen up, context matters. me have to make sure I bring home the point too, you know. Because some people will just get up and say, you know, say, me I come at work this morning and when me go to buy the coffee, Starbucks lock. And so me make a coffee myself. And I saw me know say, I then commit the crime. And me not gonna tell you, but so me I hold me harder. Yeah, that is what we have to understand. So we have cultural biases that to ask the apex court to take into consideration. And today, I learned something profound from Lord Burroughs today when he asked the learned council representing the DPP if the poison was in England, where white people are being prosecuted, if that poison ought to stay on the jury. And he laughed and he said, no, we would get rid of that poison. The thing about it is that the English law is so ahead of the Jamaican law that they would have already corrected it to ensure that judge alone. So the answer is to say we lost a trial because our legislators failed to put into place a position. I remember this trial took place in 2013 or something like that, or whenever. And what is so important about that? Yeah, what is important about that? And I wanted to appreciate this is the legislators haven't corrected it. And so we're the thinkers, the movers, and the shakers. We know they can correct legislation. Me can tell you this. Them can just come tomorrow and say, we're going to legislate and do this. And it happens, especially when they have a supermajority. And I urge them to do that. They can do it right now. Just take up the English Act, look at the Act, change it. And we in law. And then they want to increase mandatory minimum so people could have go prison for more time for possession of firearms. They just did it. When they wanted to keep the learned DPP, they did it. They do what they want to do. So a simple solution is to say, yeah, we're upholding the constitutional rights of the men. And if the legislators wish, they can do that. Simple answer. Not give us another try. One more try is all I need. I say we so them go out with them do the driving test and fail. Them need one more try. Or you take a common entrance and fail. One more try. Yeah. Can you imagine you're born and you come out and you realize your mother and father ugly and then poor? You say, one more try, God, baby, go back up in my mother. Anyway, let's stop. The concept of the one more try is just anyway. So I just putting that out there. So I'm speaking to my people. I'm speaking to my Caribbean people. I'm speaking to it's who calling me I stop. It's I start. But I stop. Keisha, as my moderator, it must be nice. It's one on the laugh it. Yeah. Oh, see that right. So I'm going to upgrade from the Will Smith box and say the idea of a real trial deserve a Rita Marley box. And if you don't know what that means, big up yourself, Rita Marley, because I tell you, say that swing there. Bob didn't really get the box there. Rita, you're large. Yeah, but you one more try. Rita Bali box. Anyway, so I'm not here to answer the questions, but the answers are there from Zimbabwe to England to many other jury systems that if we don't get the joke, it's because they don't watch the Bob Marley movie. I mean, I tell you cannot be in the Caribbean and don't support that movie. Forget what the critics say.
Okay,
yeah, it is a story and we must celebrate. We must celebrate.
Yes, so straight talk. He's basically saying that there is no way it should go to a retrial. That's why he said not one more try, right?
Yeah. Because because it's not a matter of the fact that the jury was being bribed. You see, if the jury alone was a bribe, then
Yeah.
I think a retrial would have been sufficient. But because there was mismanagement of evidence, then because there was mismanagement of evidence, then the evidence is now tainted. So we don't even know the validity or of those let's say the cell phone because the policeman carried home and this and that and all that kind of stuff.
Boy, it's sad. How can you have evidence,
Lack of
especially
custody.
like something as personal as a cell phone?
Because people long eye, as he said, and which I believe, them time there, BlackBerry expensive, right? And you just have a little phone where you have to press three times to get the actual letter where you want. And you see a BlackBerry, right? And you say, I can't go play with it and then maybe tomorrow I bring it in, yeah, man. I try it out and still it work. Right? And that's a lack of care and custody for any type of evidence.
Boy,
So the evidence is tampered with.
It's really slack, and it took Cartel to get this thing exposed. I mean, people already know, but now you can actually point to stuff.
Yeah.
You can point to stuff because from I was a youth, police used to brutalize ghetto youths.
Oh yeah.
Right? And nothing came out of it. Nothing. They did it with impunity.
Mm-hmm.
And now everything is being exposed. The whole justice system needs to be overhauled. And I think the Minister of Justice should resign. You see, Jamaican people, they are ridiculous. This Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, the guy wear a shoes, a Clarks, and everybody is, yeah. These people are so shallow.
Yeah, but and who was the one that bring up this? But hold on, stick a pin. Who was the one that bring up the whole Clark's business? The Vybz Kartel. You see? Vybz Kartel sang about the Clarks, and this Prime Minister him jump on it, and I don't know. The people are easily brainwashed still.
The Prime Minister is stooping to the lowest level of Jamaica's society. He is manipulating the people of Jamaica. That's all he's doing. Even the other day, he's talking about every ghetto youth is a star. This man have the metropolitan people them taking away people's goods. They're trying to hustle. This man have music turning off at a certain time. People can't sell them soup. People can't sell them peanut. People can't sell them Wrigley's. People can't sell them icy mint. People can't sell them jerk chicken. They are shutting off all these parties like, what is this? This early time, and yet still he's saying every ghetto youth is a star, and he's not allowing them any business opportunity. And Jamaican people should wise up and know that their vote should count. People in Jamaica, you should know your vote should count. If a politician is not performing, he should go. Just the same if you are working at a place and you are not performing,
they will let you go.
This man is taking advantage of Jamaica, and he is not for poor people. This man is not for poor people. And every election, these people come around, give a little money, this, that, and get votes, and people don't see them again until the next election, and no one is wising up. I thought that this whole thing would have been gone in my parents' generation, and it's still here, and people have a lot more education now than back then in the 80s and the 70s.
And access to education is easier. Access to information.
And they are doing the same thing. They are so exposed. They can see what's going on in Canada, in England, in Germany, in France. Look at all those protests in France. Look at the farmers, what they are doing with the manure and all these things, because these politicians, they have to be held accountable. And you, the citizens of Jamaica, you are their boss. You're not your boss. You are their boss. They work for you, and you guys should hold them accountable. This man wearing a Clarks, it is a shoes. Imagine our Prime Minister Justin Trudeau wear a Clarks or any shoes, Gucci, Prada, any shoes. He would have to resign. To show people that, oh, I'm wearing a Gucci. He would have to go. His own party would tell him that, listen, sir, Mr. Prime Minister, we are going to accept your resignation. And he would have to go. Those type of thing don't fly in first world country. And again, it shows Jamaica to be a third world country. And everything that you guys do is all talk. We don't deal with talk. And this Prime Minister is talking, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And there is nothing, no evidence of what he is doing. It's all talk. And people of Jamaica, you guys should wise up and know that these guys work for you. And don't listen to their talk. You want to see action, not a bag of mouth. Action you guys want to see. Anyway, people, anyone want to come up, you can click on the link and you can come up on screen with us. The link is there in the chat. You don't have to come up. You can just enable your mic and you can come up. Thanks for watching, and thanks for the likes. And who did not like, please give us a like. Straight talk.
Yes, sir.
What you gotta say?
Always keeping it straight. Like, share,
Continue.
subscribe.
Continue playing Isat.
Sure.
Okay.
Celebrate our people and support our people. Support the story. Support Ziggy. Support them. Support the Marleys. Because Bob Marley has made contribution to Jamaica far and wide. And support it if I even for going there go fast and find out how them just do Cindy so. I just do Cindy so. You do Miss World so. How can think that? You know what I'm saying? Just go there and get a little mix up and like it. But respect that the man was touched by God. If you're not spiritual, you're gonna miss it. And that is the thing. Natural is the mystic. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let me not depart because what people don't understand is there is a higher power, and people, there's stars align and people get ideas, and the more things change, the more they remain the same. And the system is what we have to ensure is corrected, so that when we are not here, our children don't go through the same cycles that we want. Can you imagine our forefathers fight for freedom only for us to abuse ourselves? Is that the type of society that you want to be in? Is that what you want for your kids and the next generation? You want the best versions of ourselves? Don't you want every young man, every young woman to strive to want to be in the halls of justice? Can you imagine a society where we are all lawyers and doctors and we can sew our own clothes and bust our own song and play basketball and netball and football and train and all of these things because we're multifaceted and multi-talented? Can you imagine if we support each other by coming to our TikToks and our YouTubes and our programs and ensuring that we use our platforms to educate and ensure that we're better amongst ourselves? We have to connect the dots, because that's what the change is about. Connecting the dots to make sure that the least among us supposed to go out into the world and say, me poor, but what is this going on right here? So let me go back home. I appreciate what's going on with me. Let me go back and live on my road.
Mm-hmm.
That is what we're talking about. And it cannot Chronic buy me a Ferrari. Way I talk about which road am I gonna drive it on. Anyway, so what happens in the end is just pay attention of how the narrative shift and how delay really defeats equity. Delay defeats equity. That's why when Judgment Day, when Judgment Day come, remember, some of we not gonna have no AC. When Judgment Day come, the AC will not be there. That's all I'm gonna say. So, in a nutshell, that sounded like it rhymed. In a nutshell, trial by jury should be kept and viable reforms implemented that ensure that it becomes an even fairer and more representative system. Juries that include all of our community's people, that allow for the expression of all their informed conscience and take into account the sum of all their historical experiences, simply are more competent to dispense justice. And if that justice is not always perfect, well, neither is anything else the side of the grave. All right, and Johnny Cochran says that. May his soul rest in peace. Let me make that clear. The Privy Council has not yet made its decision, and we are waiting on that. What we are discussing is the treatment of 4 sons of Jamaica who were deprived of their constitutional right, deprived of a fair hearing because of a tainted juror. No question about that. Because of breaches of the Constitution. No questions about that. And living now in the reality that we're saying, notwithstanding that, they shouldn't be afforded that opportunity. They shouldn't be afforded their constitutional rights. And in fact, here's how I see it. If you feel that way, if you're okay with that, then I should say, something, ugly people shouldn't deserve constitutional rights. Neither poor people. In fact, I feel like we should clear all the ghettos in Jamaica and just put up high-rise buildings and send those people to the bush. They don't deserve constitutional rights, and they should just go up in the truck back. That's what we need for the society. So constitutional rights should be reserved for the elite. It should be reserved for shades of brown that is a little bit on the butter pecan side, or is it caramel? I'm not too au fait with my chocolate, so I'm going to find that out. Or we need to find a way to ensure that people should wear shoes. These open-toe things, when you toe them, don't shape good because your genetics is bad. We don't want to see no umpy scumpy feet, and those people shouldn't have constitutional rights. I know you understand what I'm saying, and some of you are from there. See, it's called chocolate pecan. Yes, 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 yes. But you get the point. So we have to get rid of that mentality because our space is where we live is for all of us. We didn't ask to be joined there. 10 juries still okay after 80 days testing the demon. Can't change no man mind, so bias conscious. Well, that's what you have to say. And some people are easily influenced, because I can tell you, imagine me on a jury and then a box of KFC, lunchtime come and a box of KFC. Hey, 6 piece. Yeah, 6 piece, and I tell you this. So anyway, that is the things that we have to contend with. But the bias is certainly something that we have to look at. The bias is, whether it's implicit or unconscious, is an aspect that we want to deal with across. And the bias is also on the defense side. Bias is also on the prosecution side. Bias is also on the judge side. The thing about it is that the prosecutor has a right to be biased. I'm putting things in context now. Because the prosecutor is prosecuting. The prosecutor has the file, and the prosecutor forms a view about something, and it causes them to act the way they act. I'm sure there are people in the spaces. Yeah, I'm sure that will happen. One done 45. Yeah, those things are taken into consideration. But you must be patient, and already wait for 13 years. Already wait 13 years. Be still and know God and time. That's why that was the mantra. God and time. Don't ever forget that. And it's so ironic because that's the same thing. The complaint is about pressure put on the jury to reach a verdict, and look at the whole I want to know ready to pressure. I said I just inbox you. I want you to help me open back my strip club. Yes, let me hear this now. What going on with the strip club? The message gone far. We don't see the message. But anyway, all right. Somebody over here said go segment. No. Go 2.0. Yeah, me love you. Yeah, nah. Anyway, we don't want copyright infringement. Yeah. Yeah, so that is what we're looking for. So I have made my submission to you, or I have attempted to speak about the right to trial by jury, the impartial jury, the independent jury, individually and collectively, and to say to you that we must want for people what we want for ourselves. When we appreciate and get there about wanting for ourselves equally what we want for and want that for people, that is the road to progress. And so you would have seen, I don't have to tell you, if somebody would have told me that my experience, just sharing with you, the CCJ, Caribbean Court of Justice, excellent, is excellent experience. Going before the Court of Appeal, the Jamaican Court of Appeal, is an awesome experience. This experience was no greater than appearing before Justice McDonald Bishop, Justice Brooks, and Justice Straw for this very matter. So I want you to understand that the judges in Jamaica are erudite judges. I'm not pandering. I want you to understand and appreciate that the only thing you would have seen is advocacy before the Privy Council, and so the law. That's why justice is blind, and the scales are balanced. Because if you close your eyes and you listen to what is being said, for instance, my senior Hugh Southey, he's making Excellent points. And I saw people making fun of the stuttering, and they missed the magic, the hot fire, Dylan, fashing wing wing. You missed the shots that were fired because you were worried about speech rather than respecting the information that was coming. And comments were made about when I was doing that. I gesticulate too much, and my nose too big. I must be related to Andrew. That's not the only thing that's big. Just letting you know. So anyway, these things are a distraction to the important part, and people will miss the opportunity to learn because you just have a discriminatory nature about you that you just have to fix. And I'm just imploring people to try to be the best version of yourself. Respect those who you can learn from, and respect works both ways. So you don't need to be in space where people are tearing you down, but have compassion and empathy and give people the benefit of the doubt until those who are putting the burden to
I think
satisfy reasonable doubt.
We have heard
do
most
so
of it. I'm
without
gonna stop it
any
now
taint
and
of
talk
corruption.
for a bit.
And the taint of corruption is that not on their part, but on the
Straight
part
talk.
that
Where are you?
the
I am
things
here.
that make justice
Cause at the end of the day, in conclusion, you know, Cartel got chopped by Mr. Tavares Vincent. But I'm sure that legal bill was not cheap. So Mr. Vincent's a chopper. But as he was saying,
allegedly.
allegedly, yeah, allegedly. But he was also saying that, you know, there may be biases and stuff in the jury system. And I don't think, as I said before, like, it's just a matter of, had they done their research on the background of the jurors, then certain things could have been avoided, right? But they chose not to. So
yes,
he was saying also that you know, moving to a trial by judge, you know, he was going through the pros and the cons. However, in today's age, where information is always out there like that, that's something that you're not going to be able to get rid of in today's society. So I don't think a trial by judge is a fair stance, because then how will we know if the judge is being bribed behind the scene?
that's
But
right.
if there's a trial by jury, right, out of the 6 people, maybe one will speak up and say, no, I'm not taking it, right? And then, you know, the bribe will be exposed. When you have the trial by the jury and the technology comes into play, as he's saying, that's why you need to do before they even know who they're going to be sitting on a jury for. You go through some questions to ask if they what is their thoughts on murder. You know, have they ever experienced any trauma in their life where, you know, someone killed their family member, and how do they feel? So you're basically like getting them psychs before you select them, because so that way, in asking those questions, you're selecting people who are going into it neutral. Yes, we know people are gonna go after the fact and go on internet and whatever, but we want to make sure that you're pulling the neutral people in, not the people with preconceived notions. Or they could also end up being supporters of the artist.
That is true. But you know, he said something a while ago, and to me, it's a kind of a contradiction, because he's saying that the judges in Jamaica are erudite judges, and that means that they are so knowledgeable, right? That word, erudite. Maybe he used that word thinking that people won't know what it means, but it means very knowledgeable. And if
but
these guys
there's a
are
saying.
so knowledgeable,
But there's a saying, there's a saying that says, in order to break the law, you have to know the law, right? It's true. If you
oh
want
my
to be able to
goodness.
break the law, circumvent the law, the best thing to do is know it so you can find the loopholes. That's what Mr. Trump did. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't say I wouldn't say he broke the law, but he found loopholes within the law and stayed within the realms of the law. Because there's the black area, there's a white area, and the gray area, right? Because not all parts of the law is clear cut. It's open to interpretation.
I get what you are saying, right? You have to know it before you can break it, but it just seems a way to know that, they know so much, yet still they allow this jury to stay on board. And now this is gonna cost that same judge.
Yeah, but the thing is enough. You see? But you see, sometime it's up to the I want to know if when this was brought forward, why is it that the attorneys at that time did not cry foul and request that a retrial be done because of the tampering of the juror? Why?
That is true.
Why?
Is true.
But that's what I'm telling you. The cartel got chopped. That's what I'm telling him. He get chopped. What this should have been a big outcry that here is something that happened. Blah blah blah. You know them little way there?
You're absolutely right.
Everybody kept quiet.
Protested it at the time.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's a very, very corrupt judicial system in Jamaica. It's horrible. The whole thing needs to be overhauled, and that is why I said the justice minister should go. The people of Jamaica should start calling for the justice minister's resignation. The justice minister should go because they allow all these things to happen. And it's beyond me to even think that they don't know what's going on. These guys should know what's going on. Boy, people, thanks for watching. Straight Talk, do you have anything else to say?
Like, share, and subscribe.
Like, share, and subscribe. That's from Straight Talk. People, thank you very much for watching. Please, thumbs up. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. Let's get the conversation going. And as usual, always want more. Always. Don't be satisfied. Want more. And we will catch you in the next one.